All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a piece of law that, believe it or not, affects every single one of us every single day. It's this foundational act, basically a shield, designed way back to protect us from a really basic fear: unsafe food. So let's get into it. I mean, think about it for a second. Is the food on your plate actually what it claims to be? When you buy milk, is it just milk? Or when you get some spices, are they really pure? That little bit of doubt, that uncertainty, that's exactly what this law was designed to get rid of. And the big solution to all that worry, it came in the form of this law, the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act of 1954. I mean, the whole purpose is right there in the name, isn't it? It's all about creating a system to stop food from being messed with, to make sure that what you're eating is safe, pure, and yeah, exactly what you paid for. Okay, so if this law is a shield, we've got to understand what it's actually fighting against, right? We have to define the enemy, so to speak. And this act gets super specific. So let's ask the big question: what exactly is adulterated food? So here's the key thing to get. It's not just about food being flat out dangerous. Adulteration really covers two big things. First, yeah, if the food's quality is messed up in a way that could actually make you sick. But second, it's also adulterated if it's just not what it's supposed to be. So the law is protecting both your health and your wallet, your trust. And believe me, the act gets really specific. It's like it's looking at the entire journey of your food. It asks all the important questions. Was it made somewhere clean? Or was it a filthy kitchen? Does it have any weird poisonous stuff in it? Did somebody sneakily take out the good part, like the cream from milk, and replace it with something cheap? Is the food itself just rotten or full of bugs? Or did it come from a diseased animal? See, every single one of these points shows the law is trying to catch problems at every step of the way. And it's not just about things that can physically harm you, it's also about honesty. The act goes after something called misbranded food. This is basically when a product is lying to you. Like selling a cheap oil but labeling it as premium olive oil, or just putting a totally false claim on the package. The law says, nope, you can't do that either. Okay, so we've got all these rules, which is great, but rules are useless if no one's there to enforce them, right? Well, the Act sets up a whole team of what you could call food safety guardians. Each one has a really specific and important job. So let's meet the players. So, right at the top, you've got the rule makers, the big picture thinkers. This is the Central Committee for Food Standards. Think of them as the experts who advise the government. They're the ones who help figure out exactly what safe and high quality even mean, setting the standards for the entire country. Then you've got the scientists. These are the public analysts and the people working in the central food laboratories. They are the absolute scientific backbone of this whole system. They're the impartial experts who get the food samples and run the tests to find out the truth. They provide the cold, hard facts. And finally, you've got the investigators, the boots on the ground. These are the food inspectors. They're the officers who have the power to walk right into a shop, a warehouse, or a factory. They can inspect the food right there, and, crucially, they're the ones who take the samples to send off to the labs for testing. So now we know who's on the team, but how does an investigation actually work? What happens from start to finish? Well, the Act lays out a really clear step-by-step process. It takes us all the way from a suspicious item on a shelf to a final court verdict. Let's walk through it. And what's super interesting is how careful the process is. An inspector doesn't just grab one sample. They take one sample and split it into 3 sealed parts. Okay, one part goes straight to the lab for testing. The other 2 are kept safe. Now, if that first report comes back bad, adulterated, the legal process can start. But, and this is a huge but, the seller has the right to challenge it. They can ask the court to send one of the other sealed samples to the main central food laboratory for a second opinion. And that second report, that's the final word. It's a system with fairness built right in. All right, a law is only as strong as its teeth, right? So what actually happens if someone gets caught? What are the consequences for selling adulterated or misbranded food? Well, the Act doesn't mess around. The penalties are clear and they are serious. Now, the law is tough, but it's also smart about it. For smaller stuff, like just misbranding a product, the punishment starts at a minimum of 6 months in jail plus a fine. But, and this is a big one, if the adulteration is so dangerous that it could seriously injure or even kill someone, the penalty just skyrockets. We're talking a minimum of 3 years in prison, all the way up to life. And get this, The act has a long memory. For repeat offenders, for the people who just don't get the message, the court can go even further. It has the power to just cancel their business license. Poof, gone. The whole point isn't just to punish one mistake. It's to get the really bad actors out of the food business for good. Okay, this is probably the coolest part. This whole system we've been talking about, it's not just for inspectors and scientists. This act was pretty revolutionary because it puts real power directly into your hands as a consumer. It's not just a shield that protects you, it's a tool that you can actually use. Check this out. Under Section 12, yes you, can buy any food product, tell the seller, hey, I'm getting this tested, and then send it off to a public analyst yourself. You get back an official scientific report, and here's the kicker. If you were right, if the food really is adulterated, you get all your money back for the analysis fee. This basically turns every single shopper into a potential food safety watchdog. How cool is that? And if there's one line in this entire act that just hits home, it's this one. It says a seller can't just throw up their hands and say, oh, I had no idea. That's not a defense. The law puts all the responsibility squarely on the person selling the food. It's their job to know what they're selling is safe. Plain and simple, ignorance is not an excuse. So, there you have it. This landmark act built a whole system, rules, guardians, and rights, all to protect us. It was a shield forged back in 1954, a totally different time, and yet its core ideas of safety, honesty, and making people accountable, they're more important now than ever before. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? In our world today, with food coming from all over the globe and all this crazy food science, what does that basic promise of safe food really mean to you?